What's up? Today's gonna be a low budget podcast coming from our kitchen. We haven't made one of these kinds of videos in a long time where we use our phones as our mics.
Called Chop Talk.
No, you can talk right here. Trust me, it picks up.
I know, but I'm childish, so I want them to know I'm talking to the phone.
No, what are we talking about, bro?
What makes a person good? That's always a good one.
Person good?
Yeah, to you. In your
Ain't
opinion.
nobody good.
See, there you go.
Why do you say that?
A person good.
What makes a person good?
People not good at all, man.
Everybody's just innately bad? Born like the devil?
As much as you're good, you're bad too. So, it's the same shit.
What do you mean, though? Like, how do you define good?
Yeah, what do you define as a good
I haven't defined it myself, but it's a topic that I think about time to time.
For real? Do you think you're a good person?
I try to be.
Man, then I think you're good, man.
I take the conscious effort to try to be a good person. You feel me?
So that could be what makes a good person.
That's what I thought too.
The conscious or the effort to be a good person.
But the thing here
The
is...
intention. But what's good though? Like that's the question.
Yeah,
like what's
subjective,
good?
yeah. So what I consider good might not be good for you too.
Yeah.
So I've also thought about that. So yeah, it's just something I think about.
Man, that's a super question, bro. It's loaded. I mean, it's loaded because it's like, there are answers, I think. I think because it's like, man, so I'm a religious guy, man. So my good for me and like is as simple as like what's right and what's wrong. And in my religion, what's right and what's wrong is very black and white. There isn't really like there are
Which
always
is also wrong
What do you mean?
because society creates, good and bad, which is the black and white, and it's not always right.
No, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. Like in my religion, right? Like we have sort of a blueprint, and in the religion, it's like everything is definite, right? There are things.
And
that
you
are,
believe this 100%.
100%.
100%.
Right?
Okay.
It's like there are things that are good, and there are things that are bad.
All right, then let me ask you this: what about things that are gray?
No, that's what I'm saying. In my religion, according to my religion, there aren't really great things. Now,
It's black and white.
it's like depending on what room you're in, right? The rules change. So it's like I'll give you an example. There are things. Perfect example is super simple. It's like not wearing a scarf in America is like nothing, right? It's like,
Yeah,
it's not,
absolutely.
if you go to another country and you don't wear a scarf, it's like a big deal. You know what I mean? So it's like, does good and bad change based on where the location is? I don't think so.
No, I could tell you that. I have experience. I'm from Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
This would not be okay down there.
Right.
Like, why you know what I'm saying?
The rules change, yeah.
Yeah.
The rules change, but it's good and bad, right? And it's at its essence. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine if good and bad was like energy, right? It's like the energy, in my opinion, it never changes. We may think that something is good or think that something is bad, but I think that there are things that are innately good and innately bad, or like at its essence. You know what I'm saying? Like I think murder. Right, if we move to a different planet, right, and on that planet, all them fools murdered each other. It's like and it was okay on that planet. That whole planet might be like, this is good. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's like I think bad, like murdering people is bad. It doesn't matter what the rules are at the place you're in. You feel me?
So those are certain things.
Yeah, because so the thing is like this is a heavy thing in the Islamic community because the rules were made 1,400 years ago. Really, the rules were made at the beginning of time, right? And people, like a lot of Muslims, have the argument like, hey, it's a different age, it's a different day. You know what I'm saying? We're living in 2020 now. The rules should be different, right? It's like, why do I still need to wear a scarf? Or why can't I have a girlfriend? It's 2020. How am I going to get married? And I think people start to kind of bend the rules, or they start to change the rules because their environment is different than it was 1,400 years ago. But in my opinion, the rules never change, and they're not changed now. They're not going to change in 2,000 years. Whenever people walk around naked, it's still going to be wrong, in my opinion, and according to the rules. So it's like me. I have a lot of people disagree with that opinion. A lot of people, especially people who don't have a religion or are not religious, they disagree with that because they're like, no, I think, and I don't disagree with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's my opinion on it. Like, I think there is definitely like
It's timeless.
good and bad. Yeah, it's timeless for sure, man. The book don't change, brother. Book don't change.
And it's crazy because it's like a lot of the holy books kind of like line up in rules. Like they have similar rules.
Yeah, like as far as the commandments,
Yeah.
it's like don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat type.
It's kind of logical.
Yeah, for sure. There are some things that. So there's like a major question. I'm the only I'm like the firstborn male Muslim in my family, in my whole family, right? My father's side of the family, they're, you know what I'm saying, they're black, right? They live in St. Louis. A lot of them, some of them are Muslim now, but a lot of them are Christian and devout. And then on my mother's side of the family, her adopted family, they are white and they are pastors, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, on both sides of the family, we have very religious people, but we're separate religions. And if I'm being honest, my white family are the sweetest people that I've ever met in my life. What are you going?
Which side would you consider more good or better?
I mean, I don't...
Because you say, you know how you say it's
so
like...
That's another...
Better might not be the right word.
I know.
I don't even think good is the right word. It's because it's like, man, another...
That's what I'm saying. It's because you know how your foundation's on the is
Islam, yeah. So,
exactly.
but another
So
part
like,
of the foundation is that the good in you is from within. It's like that's another thing about the foundation is like there are finite rules, and one of those finite rules is that the only person allowed to judge, or the only one allowed to judge, is God. Yes. That's the only one allowed to judge. So that's part of the foundation. Is like I couldn't tell you who is better or who is not.
But I was saying from your point of view, because
I could tell you who was sweeter to me, who was nicer to me, but I couldn't tell you who was better. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Makes
the
sense.
people that I like more aren't necessarily better than the people that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's somebody extremely religious that I know of who I love so much, but it's like I like spending time with gangsters sometimes. You know what I mean?
I was just curious because you said, you know, Islam's like you're black and white, so I thought you would naturally say like your dad's side because they had more Muslims. That's what I was just guessing.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in that religion?
I was born. My father converted when he was like 24 or something,
Okay.
20 something.
Makes sense.
My mother converted when I was like 2 or 3 or something like that. So, but I've been in the Islamic community for my entire life. Like
Makes sense.
the language is familiar to me. Like Arabic is familiar, Urdu is familiar to me. The people, you know what I'm saying, I'm very familiar with that
Nice.
language in it.
Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
But yeah.
Impressive.
The thing is like, I feel like there is like a minor, or not minor, but there's a huge question for like young Muslims like myself, where it's like I was saying, my white family, they are the sweetest people, not non-Muslim people. They are like the sweetest, just most genuine, generous people. Like some of the sweetest people I've ever met, and they're not Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, for a lot of people, it's difficult for them to swallow, like, yo, there's no way that these people, according to my book, are bad, because it's like they're the sweetest people that I've ever met. You know what I mean? And that's something that it's been difficult.
Like the gray-ish.
That is like the grayest area. If I'm true to myself, right, and I'm true to the book, then it's like I know what's up, I know the deal. But it's like, man, our human nature, our just the natural energies that you get from people, too strong, bro. Too powerful. It's like, man, you know when you want to be around somebody, you know when you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like almost, regardless of religion, it's like,
The
I know,
essence.
bro.
Essence.
It's like, man, there are some people who I don't talk to who I'll never forget. Like, there was this dude who went to my high school. His name was Zaid. I'll never forget him. And he was a Muslim dude, and I talked to him probably in my entire lifetime 20 times, and each like conversation is maybe 30 seconds. And he was in one of my classes, and his voice was so calm and so like smooth, like soothing. And he used to just like be like, you know, Assalamu alaikum, bro, how are you? Like, how you doing? And that was it. And bro, I just got this so much love for him. Like, whenever I see him, it's like, dang, like, I love that dude. And it's like, I've not seen him in so many years, and I'll never forget him, ever.
That's tight.
Crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. I think that's such a big deal. We kind of rabbit trailed there for a little bit, but
Once again, this was Issa's podcast, and we'll summarize it up from here.
no, I'm curious what you think,
What I think,
because you're big on morals. Like, you're strict on your morals.
I am, but it's what I find as a good person. It's just someone who like basically, it's like what I do. It's like, regardless
Oh,
of
my bad.
it's like what I do, but they do it in their own way. It's like, as long as they stick to their morals and stay true to themselves, it's like that's a good person to me.
So
Whether if
Do
they're
you think
more,
I'm a good person?
I think you're a good person. From the bottom of my heart, I think you're a good person.
No, that.
I might say you bad, but I truly do think you're a good person. It's like you do different things for me, and those morals, your morals are way different from mine. But I still, from the bottom of my heart, believe that you're a good person because you stay true to your morals.
all right, all right, I like that. I mean, I like that. I'll ask you this then. So you believe that the rules, right, of good and bad change. It varies from person to person.
Yeah, because it's so subjective.
All right, I'll tell you this.
And it sucks to say because it's like his morals could be like believing in killing somebody.
Do you guys believe they're bad people then? Do you?
Man, heck yeah, they're bad
Because
people.
the way it seems is, everybody's good.
Yes,
Is that true?
everybody's good, but everybody's also bad.
Okay.
Because not everybody can stay strict to their morals. It's
As long as
so
you do
hard.
something useful for humankind, I think that's good to me.
So what is your, with that saying, like, what is your...
It has to be in a way like useful to people, I guess, to change to. I don't know. It's very hard to explain because
I know it's
just-
it's a loaded question, man.
yeah, it's tough. But like the way I grew up, good and bad. Your parents are good. Strangers not, strangers
Yeah.
bad. Like that's how I grew up. So it was
Yeah.
like black and white. But I grew up into seeing people like, okay, you can actually like reach out to someone and see him for the person he is, right?
Yeah.
And as long as you don't know that person or you don't reach out to that person and you get a little close look, you can't tell like what kind of person that person would end up. Like you can look at it in marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like maybe 6-7 years dating, you call each other babe, and all that.
Yeah.
Then you start living together and you have your own personality, like your persona changed, like in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The person I know outside and inside is completely different.
Different,
So when people get to marriage, sometimes it's hard to handle it because they don't know, like, am I with someone different? Like,
Right.
who's that person? So then you start calling person, that's a bad person because you see everything about that person.
I feel that.
And that's when you start judging. So you can't really, it's like basically, what is it called? The famous saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously nobody is perfect, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely think that there are some people that are more good than they are bad, and I think that there are some people that are more bad than they are good. And if I'm
But what made them?
so
bad, yeah,
there's,
that's
I
the
think I
thing.
have two answers, right? Like the first answer is the first one that I gave. It's like for me personally, and if I'm talking to like Muslim people or people who have the same sort of like ideology as I do on the thing, then it's a very easy answer. My answer is that the people who do more by the book or who are kind of like aligned with the teachings of Islam, they're the people who do more of that and less of the thing that it forbids, then they're good people, right? And you want to be around them. And then the flip side, vice versa. But not everybody thinks like that, and a lot of people are, especially this age, a lot of people are more spiritual and they're more on energy.
It's
And so-
more about, yeah.
It's more about energy, and so I think my answer to that is sort of similar. I still think that it's like the people who have good intentions. No, you're right. That's confusing. Because it's like
it's hard because
Because
it's like
intention is a whole another thing.
yeah, because you like I just went in a circle because it's like, man,
it's crazy. What I just thought about when you said that was like everybody has good, everybody has bad, but it's like sometimes like not sometimes, it's just like it's weird because like everybody has the good and the bad in them, correct?
yeah, definitely.
But some people just show their good more than
The bad ones.
yeah.
thing is-
you know what I'm saying? It's
The
so
thing
weird.
is like
Making
without
a conscious effort to be good.
But
Yeah.
bro, without it doesn't even work, bro. Without rules, it doesn't work at all. It never works because it's like if there's no rule, the human beings are too dynamic. It's
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
it's too dynamic. It's like the good and bad, it literally, what you're saying is that everything that you do in your entire life has to fall in one or the other category. That means waking up. That is either good or bad.
But that's
that means
what
brushing your teeth
in
is
the
either
beginning
good
you said it was black and white.
and it is in my religion.
But that's also how I saw it. And you know I'm heavily influenced by religion.
So the thing is like, so this is my belief, and this is tough for some people to swallow, is that the rules of my religion are the rules of the world. It's like, whether you believe in this or not, these are your rules. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, if there's let's say that there's a road, and it's like, it's a one-way road. Everybody could be going the wrong way. That doesn't mean that the rule is to go that way. The rule is still to go the other way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's how I feel. And it's like, that applies to Christianity as well. People who, with a Christian belief.
I feel like they just are able to break that one more.
Well, what I'm saying is that
Because it's the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
it's like a very popular Christian belief, or a belief that I've heard often, is that as long as you ask for forgiveness from Jesus Christ, or Isa alayhi salam, whatever you prefer, as long as you do that, you are forgiven no matter what you do.
Nah.
That's what I've heard.
No, that's wrong.
That's true? That's not true?
That's wrong.
You
That's
Christian?
I'm Christian.
Tell me about it.
That's wrong.
So no, you know how there's branches of Christianity. Some Christians believe that.
Always seek for forgiveness. That's the main thing.
Right.
Always, no
Yeah.
matter how, like, either you do good or bad, we always believe that we're wrong. You know what I'm saying? We're in the wrong side of life.
Okay.
So we see God to bring us to the light. So the way to do that is like, let's say all day today, I didn't do anything bad.
Right.
But it doesn't mean I shouldn't ask forgiveness. Every prayer should be about forgiveness.
Yeah, we're heavy on that too as well.
So every prayers is like, it's all about like forgiveness, praising God, but at the same time you're asking forgiveness.
The reason why I brought that up is because it's like, I'm not Christian, but you believe that, in that belief applies to me as well.
What you're saying, like literally exactly what you said about forgiveness, is something that people came up with to bend the rules. The same thing he said, because Christianity is the majority of the world. So like for most part, everyone is in different society. You go to India, they wear white for like when it's funeral or something, right?
In America, you were black, right?
Not only America, like in Ethiopia, Africa, you wear black, you know? The way they mourn about, like, everything is different, right? So the same thing, people create these rules to bend it. And they'll say, oh, yeah, it's in the Bible. No, it's not. You know?
That's one thing, too. Like, they twist words.
The Quran is the Quran. There's no New Testament or Old Testament, is there?
Yeah, no, there's not.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's an old and new, and I've met people, even within my family, like there's people saying, oh, we follow the New Testament. Like, you probably follow the old one. And I'm like, so what's the point of being Christian,
Right.
If you're not true to yourself, the same thing, you say it again. But you're going back saying, there's a book that says this is right, and your book is wrong. And I guess, I don't know, Bible is just something written. But I don't know how you see it. How do you see the Quran?
So the Quran, one of the
Is it above the...
I think they all...
Yeah, like, I really want to understand, because I don't understand where the Bible
Quran,
stands.
As for to Muslims?
No, even for Christians, I don't understand what, like, is the Bible, is it all just...
Isn't all the Holy Scriptures true?
No, that's not true. So the Quran to us is the literal word of God, right? It's not, a priest or nobody didn't write it, right?
So you see, the Bible should be, I think, it was meant to be exactly like that as well, right? Yeah. But I don't know. I really don't have a strong...
For sure. So in even the literature in the Quran, a lot of times God is speaking to you in first person. He'll say, and we told you da 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 da, and we told you this, and ask for forgiveness. And so the entire Quran, right? It's a compilation of 114 chapters. Every chapter and every word and every letter within that is the word of God. And so the way that it was written, it wasn't written, it was spoken. And so it was spoken to, the revelations came to Rasulullah, like the Prophet Muhammad, and he couldn't write. So he would say it, he would relay it to his people, and his people would write it down. And so there is the author of the Quran is not like St. Paul or anybody. The author of the Quran is God. And so
Makes
that's
sense.
why we hold it so high, is because like
It's the word of
it's the
God.
literal word of God. It's like
yeah, go ahead. Continue.
That's what Christianity
So-
argues as well.
it's the word of God.
Yeah, it's like they're just writing the words of God. From
I
what
didn't even-
But
I
why
know.
should there? What's the point of having New Testament and Old Testament? What's the reason having two? But at the same time, also like people say there's differences. So I want to know like those differences. Why?
I think that's a good point. It's like one of the points you made. One of the points you made was like, you know, people like to bend the rules, and that's not just in Christianity. Muslims do that as
Shia
well.
and Sunni. That's the reason.
That's a little bit. Yeah, and honestly, yeah.
Yeah, because
that
that's
is what it
basically
is.
what.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know-
absolutely.
I know.
But I'm
I
talking
see
about
the
even.
difference.
I'm talking about even in Sunnis. Like Sunnis will even take text from the Quran, or they'll take a hadith, or they'll take like a.
Twist words.
Bro, they'll change the meaning for it, and that shows the importance of a guideline. That shows the importance of a rule book, because if there is no rule book, then there are no rules. There is no good and bad without an actual a guideline. And so it tells you, in order for me to change what's good and bad according to my morals, then I have to change the rules on the book. See what I'm saying? But I think that's major. That's major, bro. That might be it.
Before we end it, though,
Yeah.
you believe the book, 100%. Whatever the rules are, the rules of good and bad,
For sure.
the rules come from the book, and you believe them 100%.
100%, bro.
Right. Now, how do I explain this? What if there's a rule that you don't agree with?
It comes with faith. That's an excellent question. There are lots of rules that I don't understand. And one of the first rules in Islam is that a lot of times you'll see something and you ask the question why. And we, in order to combat that, one of the first rules is that we do things because God said so. Sometimes whenever you're young, like this is a good analogy. Whenever you're a kid, right, and you see something glowing red and it's beautiful, sometimes children would like to touch it, right? But if a parent will know that it's a stove, if it's a stove and it's glowing red, that means it's not good for you, right? As a child, as a baby, you may not know that. And so you're going to touch this beautiful looking red glowy thing, and your parent slaps you on the hand and says, no, don't touch that. So I use that analogy to say there's a saying in I don't know if it's from Islam, but there's a saying that says,
Did someone tell you that
someone told me.
about this
Analogy?
example? Yeah, analogy.
I think I heard it before.
Same thing. I heard it. Same
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
it
It's
sounds
about the
familiar.
same thing because they taught me saying you don't question faith.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
the teaching is not to question faith. The teaching is to say prioritize, right? So we prioritize the reason for what we do things. The number one reason why I don't touch the stove is because my parents said so. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't question my parents, like, also why? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to touch it because you said so, but I'm curious to know why. And then they'll say, I told you not to touch it because it's going to burn your finger off. See what I'm saying?
But what if you're talking about an age of 1 or 2 when you're not really, you just came to this world. You know
the
what I'm saying?
the analogy
But
is
what if you're at this point of your life, you don't know anything about this world. You're in the box and you came out. and-
that's the so the
Would
saying
it be the same?
The saying is it would be the saying from Islam is, why would you ask about the creation when you don't even know about why would you ask about the creator when you don't even know about the creation? There are millions of animals that we don't even know about in our planet. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so there's a God. I believe that there's a God that created literally everything in here, things that we don't know about and things that we may never know about for another 10,000 years or whatever, if we last that long. And so the thing is if God, the Almighty, the Powerful, the All-Knowing, has told you not to do something, it's like it probably is for a good reason. You know what I'm saying? There are things right now. So, for example, and I don't know how super duper true this is. I heard like in the Bible and in the Quran, it says don't eat pig meat, right? And nobody knows why, right? Or
Yeah.
nobody knew why until recently. It's like you don't eat pig meat because it could kill you. See what I'm, and there are things that are like that.
Why?
All common.
I heard that it's
Are you
because
are
they
you saying it
bathe
could
in
kill
their
you?
own, poop.
I mean,
And
there's
it's
a
just
lot.
like it's just bad. Like it's
Okay,
just a bad.
well,
meat in
that's
general.
bad. That's bad. But from the story, like the way I grew up and the way we learn, it was. Really don't remember the part of.
It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Dude,
It
not
basically says some kid was sick, This lady was crying. She goes to Jesus, and she's like, "I've heard you, save people and save my kid, basically, right?" So he came. He took out the pain out of the kid and put it in the pig. Then after that, he said, "Do not eat that."
Short of, brother, I don't know.
That's how I learned it.
All I'm saying, I'm not even saying it from a religious standpoint.
But in the science, yeah, like the actual.
It's like, okay. So, what was your original question? Because it was a good question.
It was like, did you disagree? If you disagree,
like
with
the rules are there, but what if you disagree with the rule?
I was saying that we prioritize our the reason why we do something is because a lot of times, if you don't, there's a rule in Islam where you can marry 4 wives. You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not an obligation. I would not marry 4 wives. Like, I don't.
Do you think it's right though?
100%. I think it's right because it's in the book.
Okay.
But and this is something. It's like we're way advanced in the It's like we would, if we're both Muslim, it like makes more sense. But we would have to like talk about a lot of things to get to why. But like everything that's okay in Islam is good to me. If it's good according to the religion, then it's good for me. So it's like you are allowed to have 4 wives, but a woman is not allowed to have 4 husbands. It's not. But in Islam, we're the same. Men and women are the same. So it gets a little wild, right? Like a lot of people, as a young kid, I'm like, that doesn't seem fair. You know what I'm saying?
This is a very interesting topic.
But so basically, if it were up to me, right, I wouldn't marry 4 women. But the thing is like, so right there, that's it. Like, I think that's good, and I think that
you just move on.
Having 5 women, you can't. So I think having 5 women is bad. But it doesn't stop there. For every, I'm so like convinced, or like I believe in it so heavily that it's like there's no question in my mind that having 4 women or having 4 wives is okay. But then on top of that, there's actually like conditions. The first condition is that you have to be financially able to take care of them all. Number 1. Number 2 is like they have to have their own living quarters. 3, it's like you have to treat them all the same. If you don't think that you can treat them the same, it's not like don't do it. It's not allowed for you. It's actually illegal for you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are similar to that, but they come with different conditions. So there's nothing in the Quran that I disagree with. Firstly, with my priorities, simply for the fact that God said it, right? And then also because if you educate yourself, then the reasons become very logical to you. It makes sense to you. One of the reasons, I was reading this thing, it was like one of the reasons, like scientifically, women should not have multiple husbands because it is a very fast way to spread like sexual, like
transmitted diseases.
A man with multiple women cannot, but a woman with multiple men can. See what I'm saying? So even if they're married, they're all gonna have STD.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's the reason. All I'm saying is that I believe in my religion so heavy, man, and I can back it with science, I can back it with math, I can back it with literature.
So, the Quran said that it's okay to have 4 wives, but do you find it okay?
Absolutely, 100%.
Would you do it?
I wouldn't do it because that's not how I roll. But I think it's okay. If somebody wants to have 4 wives, bro, I'll be at your wedding. All of them, 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? But another thing is that Islam doesn't say you must have 4 wives.
But
It's just saying you can.
Islam says you're allowed to have 4 wives, you're allowed to have 3 wives, you're allowed to have 2 wives, you're allowed to have 1 wife. You know what I'm saying?
But so you don't divorce them though.
What do you mean?
So when you move on to,
bro, there's a rule.
One second. You said you don't roll like that. That implies that you have set moral compass of your own that you live by, carry yourself out with. Correct?
It's preference. It's not a moral thing. Like I said, like me having 4 wives, it has nothing to do with my moral situation. It's literally because I like one woman. She's beautiful to me. I love her to death. Okay. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm kidding. But it's like, I don't know. I just don't think that, for me personally, I don't think that I have what it takes to like take care of 2 women at the same time.
Okay.
Like I love women, dude. It's like
no. I grew up around this family, and he had 4 wives and about 20 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they were rich. I can tell you that, but yeah, he did take care of them. So
For sure. So it's allowed for him. If you know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. It's like you're not forced to have for when, and that's bro, like I'm telling you, there are lots and lots of things that are like that. But I think that, so it's like, man, we would have to talk about religion at its essence if we're like talking like, because we're like picking like one tiny detail.
It's too complex, bro.
It's like y'all might not even have like the basic understanding of Islam, and we're like cherry picking this like one little tiny thing, but we could cherry pick them all day, bro. And it's like, I feel like there's an explanation, like if you're being honest with yourself, there's an explanation for literally everything, and you can explain it without using the faith, like, oh, you gotta have faith. It's like, man, nah, it's like scientifically this actually makes sense.
Let's wrap it up, bro.
Yeah. We gotta, it's probably not even gonna be in here, so
All right,
right here.
so
that was
today's
solid, bro.
podcast.
So basically, it's just like, at the end of the day, if you hold true to the essence, whatever your essence is, you're a
Not
good
in my
person.
opinion. I've just
Refine
convinced
yourself.
myself. I have convinced myself that you will never know what is right and wrong. You will never ever know truly what is right and wrong
It's
until
too
you
dynamic.
have a rule book, until you follow a set of rules. There's no way for you to know, because it's like if you are basing it off of your feeling, then it's like literally your good and bad, they change day to day, and that doesn't make any sense. Right and wrong should be finite. It's like it should be right and wrong should be across the board.
Definite.
It should be definite. There's no other way.
Yeah,
If
but
you believe in
it's
any kind of
it's
higher
too
power, then you
dynamic.
believe that. Yeah, it's like,
Only the higher power will know what's right and wrong.
and
at
it's
the
like,
end
man, you need rule book, bro. That's my
So-
opinion. That's my opinion.
That
In
is
my
all.
opinion.
That is all that we got today. Until the next time.
Let Nip finish, bro.
God bless you.
Happy birthday, Nif.
Mary.